So let me just state this plainly and succinctly. That way we can really just get down to the point of it. You've lost the young men. They're not buying what you're selling anymore. They don't care about your egalitarianism. They don't care about a society that is inclusive of all creeds and religions and so on and so forth. They don't care anymore. That's why videos like this go viral. Video right there has 4,000 likes on Instagram. And it's no doubt muted by Instagram because it has German symbolism from the 1940s in it. But let me show you who the voice of young men has become. Now, not all young men. Let's just be clear. Not all young men. But reality is, this is somebody you have to contend with because we can ignore them. We can say, oh, that's just a fringe group. We can say, well, these young men need to learn how to suck it up and take responsibility and get up out of their parents' basement and stop playing video games. Okay, keep trying shame. Keep trying to shame young men into being obedient and see how far that gets you. Why do you think these things are exploding? The video that I just showed, or this video, which is Nick Fuentes, who is somebody that they've tried to cancel a million times, but we have to ask the question, why is this dude striking a chord with people? Check it out here.
And Tucker Carlson's dad ran the CIA's propaganda empire fighting the Soviet Union. He went and fought with the Contras when he was in college. When I was in college, I was doing a webcam show in my friend's dorm room criticizing Israel. I would never describe a well-meaning young white person who's trying to get ahead as a weird kid in his basement from Chicago. And what is that supposed to mean? What is wrong with being from Chicago? What is wrong with being weird? What is wrong with living in your basement? That's a lot of people because of the problems you claim to care about. Tucker's at Turning Point USA extolling the predatory nature of usury and how it's preventing young white men from getting homes. And then the week after says you're in your mom's basement. So which is it? So which is it? Do you care about Klarna and people going into debt to order pizzas and home ownership being impossible? Or do you think that's a contemptible, low status thing to be ridiculed and mocked?
The reason that they're flocking to people like that and why they're flocking to the video that I showed with all that Nazi symbolism, the reason why is because they feel like they don't have a shot anywhere else. Reality is, guys, radicalism is not just born out of the ether. People don't just wake up and become radicalized. When societies are prospering and doing well and they're very well rounded, they're very healthy, and even though there's some diversity of creeds and beliefs and stuff like that, there is a unifying essence of the people that everybody agrees on these principles. There's a sense of national identity. When you have that, you don't have radicalism. Radicalism is birthed out of misery. It's birthed out of despair. It's birthed out of disillusionment. And let me say this as emphatically as I can. You have lost the young men because they don't believe that you care about them anymore. They don't believe that you believe in them anymore. In this age of feminism, where women have most of the high-paying jobs in this country, they are 65% of the college graduates. Our school systems are set up for women primarily, and a very small percentage of temperaments for young men are actually hardwired to be able to thrive in school. You're told, sit down, shut up, and be a good boy. That doesn't work, and it's not working. And what are we losing? We're losing the young men, the only group of people capable of enforcing their will on everybody else is young men. Like I've said before, this is why we use them to fight our wars, to police our streets, to be the enforcers. Whenever a judge, an elderly judge or a female judge or whoever strikes their hammer and says this must be done, why does it actually get done? It's not because people are quaking in their boots because of the old person or the old lady with the hammer. It's because there's young men who will go and enforce what they're saying needs to be done. What happens when you lose the young men? What are you going to do? You're going to send 60-year-old men to go and, fight 20-year-old guys? What, are you going to send women? Is that what we're going to do? We're going to have an intergender kind of clash of the sexes in our culture where our women are our police and our military. And we see this. There, virtually for some reason, every single major city has a female police chief. I don't know why that is, but every single one always is. Are we going to have that? Is that what we're going to do? Because here's what that does. It just begets more violence. So reality is, here's what we need to do. We need to start meeting the young men where they're at and hear what they're saying. And if we don't, because we don't want to set our pride aside or because we have this idealistic idea of, well, society should be perfectly egalitarian and they don't want to sit down and have a conversation with you, well, that makes them closed-minded. Okay, so we've got a whole generation of young men who don't want to listen to you. So how do we actually reach them? You can call them closed-minded. You can rant on Facebook. You can make these posts. I was on the New York Times earlier today. I was on one of their Facebook posts, and it was a post that said, here are the voters who should scare Democrats. And it basically, the gist of it was, the Democrats are losing working class America. They're losing Hispanic males. They have lost completely white men, specifically young white men. And all the comments are just filled with, well, it's because they're Nazis. It's because they're this. It's because they're that. And reality is, again, where is radicalism born out of? It's born out of disillusionment and feeling disempowered. And so you seek to use radical action to empower yourself. And we obviously know where the consequences lead. You called them Nazis for 10 years, and now they're Nazis. Some of them. You called them pathetic. You told them they need to sit down and be good boys. You told them, you wagged a finger in their face. And now what do you have? You have a whole generation of young men who don't give a crap what you have to say anymore. What are you going to do? What are we going to do? If the young men, the enforcers, don't listen and they start following the Nick Fuenteses that I shared earlier, what are we going to do? Because I could tell you what's not going to happen. They're not going to just lay down, forget about it, get married, and just move on with life and just learn to just deal with it. No, they're not. They know, they understand that men have been emasculated in the modern world. We have, in our radical search for radical egalitarianism, we have erased the differences between men and women to basically being superficial visual differences. And we've completely erased male spaces. We've completely demonized male instinct, the way that men think and want to do things and build and strive and conquer and achieve. And we have catered to the maternal instinct. We have bowed down to the altar of the feminine, and we have sacrificed the masculine on the altar of feminine egalitarianism. And so the only thing that happens after that is radicalism. That's it. Because the young men say, well, conversations aren't going to do it. School begets me nothing. I go and get a degree, and I get a degree and I go and work in a corporation and I have to be mothered by a female manager every day. I don't feel the freedom or the empowerment to go and cast the vision for this thing and go and do it. Instead, there's always somebody with a clipboard telling me I need to fill out the form for the such and such. And if you think this is ridiculous, then okay, think it's ridiculous. You don't have any influence over the young men if you dismiss them like that. And you do it to your own peril. So I beg with everybody, please, for those of us who are trying to reach these young men, to empower them, to point them in the right direction. And here's what I mean when I say point them in the right direction. I don't mean try to find a way to speak their language to convince them to believe that the way things are right now is good. That is not what I mean. What I mean is fully empower them into their masculine role that God made them to do, to be leaders, to be conquerors, to be builders, strivers, achievers, visionaries, competent, confident, strong, unconquerable, and immune to manipulation, emotional manipulation, spiritual manipulation, those types of things. That's what I'm referring to. That's what we need to do. And when we don't do it, all we do is we leave open the door for those who have the balls to say to the young men what needs to be said. And as long as the Christians stand on the sidelines and don't say anything because we're so scared of how the culture perceives us and how, oh man, I don't want to say something about feminism because I don't want people to think that I think that women are lesser. As soon as you start doing all this mealy-mily tiptoe stuff, you'll lose the young men. You'll lose them.